So, Lethea, Josh. Yeah, what's going on, guys? What's happening? Matt M, good to see you. What's up? Who wants to go live? Click the link. Join me. Do you dare click the link? What is the topic for tonight? We have no topic at all. Tom, what's going on? Donnie C. Hussein Kabi, good to see you, man. Yeah. Clips, good to see you. Order Divine Warrior in the house tonight. We don't mess around. Herbie the Love Bug is here. We don't mess around when Herbie is here. All right, go back to the beginning. Joe Marion, good to see you, man. Go back. Rise and shine. Clayton Silva, my God. One of my homies from way back. Oh, my God. Now that's a blast from the past. Holy cow. Woo. Tony 513. PTB in the house. Cole R in the house. Yeah, the mentor video. Yeah. That was a good video, wasn't it? I'm always looking to learn. Always. Yeah, Clayton, long time. Holy cow. You were always my homie on Instagram when I would go Instagram live. My Lord. Yeah. Ah, excellent. Excellent. Ah, you're into vintage artifacts, Wheeling, West Virginia. Fantastic. Sancho Panza. Good. PTB, keep it vegan if you want. I don't keep it vegan. I've been carnivore for the past week and I'm feeling great. Weight's flying off and I'm getting trim and I feel great. Hey, listen, let me tell you something right now. If you want to join me, this ain't a solo show. Click the link and join me. Pondering with Pepe's Pipes. Clayton, remember those Instagram lives? My God, that had to be 3 or 4 years ago. Definitely. Yeah. Bill, how are you? Good to see you. Click the link and come on in. Don't be a pussy. Come on in and talk. All right? No one's going to bite. Click the link. Come on in. There's the link right there. Don't make me keep posting that thing. I got to fire up a pipe. Hold on. David, good to see you, man. David, where do you live, man? I'm only vegan when I'm drinking beers and smoking cigars. That's a good one. That's funny. I like that. Pondering, good to see you. David, you're from Ohio. Awesome. It's cool. Any remedies for heartburn? You're dying. Yes, man. Tums, calcium that absorbs the acid. Yorderman, Netherlands. Good to see you. Yeah. Joe, carnivore for 2 years. Yeah. My intake right now is about a half pound of meat a day. And then I haven't eliminated dairy at all or eggs. So, Batman Bear. When you say bear, are you the kind of bear that I'm thinking about? You know what I'm saying? Yes, David says apple cider vinegar. That's cool too. Ryan, Ryan, click the link and come on. Stop being pussies. Peg Bell, you're in the house. Sorry, I just cursed. Peg, click the link and come on. Come on live. Maybe we'll get Jennifer and Lindy on here as well. How much does a pirate pay for corn? A buccaneer. That's a good one. I like that. "6 months in on the beard, resisting the urge." Okay, Batman Bear is a bear. All right. Bears always get a fist bump. Always. 80 pounds in 10 months, carnivore dairy. Yeah. I mean, it's so easy. Hey, Clayton, great to see you, man. I know it's 10 a.m. Wednesday. So good to see you. Please drop in again. You are my original homie. You are.
I have no idea how this works.
Well, there's a guy named Pat who's joining us. How are you, Pat?
Good. How are you, George?
Good. Thanks for joining tonight. That's awesome, man.
Oh, thank you. I just kind of stumbled upon this.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from around like Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, fantastic. And what did you do today?
Oh, I had a long day. I have a steam cleaned carpets, a few
Nice.
other things, cleaned some air ducts, but
Is that your work? Is that your trade?
yeah, I work for a Stanley Steamer.
Nice.
They have them all over, I guess.
Nice. Sweet. Let's hear it for the tradesman. Fist bump. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm all about trades, man. Everyone I know who has a college degree is laid off and sucking wind right now, and the only people who are making money are tradesmen, you know?
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And you know, it's funny. You could go anywhere in the country. I could put a parachute on your back, put a blindfold across your eyes, drop you off somewhere in the United States. By the end of the day, you'll be making money with those skills.
It's true, yeah. Something. Carpet cleaning, like I got them all over.
Oh, yeah.
Work. But
that's awesome, man.
Carpet cleaning, like I got them all over.
Hey, it's Peg Bell. And who else do we have? Tim. I can hear you. Tell me where you're from, Peg. Tell me what state you're in.
Ohio.
That's right. I knew that. I did. And Tim, where are you from? What state you're in?
Ohio.
That's right. I knew that. I did. And Tim, where are you from? All right, everybody, if you're not talking, you have to mute your microphone.
Let's see. Mute.
If at all possible. If you're not talking, you have to mute. Tim, where are you from? Microphone.
Are you by chance talking to me, George?
All right, we're having some bandwidth problems here today. And I don't know why.
Let's see. Can you hear me? Oh, damn it.
But who's on board with us here?
Damn it.
Hold on one second.
Let's see. Can nobody hear me?
I can hear you now. I can.
Okay. How you doing, George?
All right, good. Where are you from?
I'm from Iowa City.
Fantastic. And what did you do today?
I am still in the last semester of my teacher ed program at the university.
Beautiful. When do you start teaching? In the fall?
I'll student teach starting in August.
Okay. And for how long do you do that?
For one semester. So from like August to December.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Peg, what'd you do today?
Well, I worked outside for a little bit today, and I also worked in my basement getting things organized.
Nice. Organizing is always good. Let me put my headset on here. Hold on a second. I just dropped the phone. All right, that's better. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, good, good. Remember that Verizon guy? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That's what I feel
And then like a decade after those commercials, Sprint hired him. They made him do the same thing.
Yeah, his name was Robert Marcaroni, not Macaroni. It was Marcaroni, and he was a twin.
Mm-hmm.
And the story of that guy is he was told about this audition. He was like an up and coming actor. I know all these backstories from all these people. I only know this because I auditioned for The Most Interesting Man in the World like 15 years ago, and I didn't get it. And every time I saw the Dos Equis commercials, it tortured me to think that he was making $8 million a year, and I'm just sitting home with my remote in my hand eating Domino's pizza, and he was making $8 million a year, saying "Stay thirsty, my friends." So that was crazy. Yeah, Robert Marcaroni. He didn't have time to go home and change. He had like jeans and like this gray zip up jacket on, and when you usually go to auditions, you dress up. And someone said, "Well, can you get here fast?" He says, "I don't have time. I want to go home first." I go, "You don't have time. Just get to the studio and audition." So he went like in his like street clothes, and he went and he did the audition for "Can you hear me now?" and all this kind of stuff. He did the read, and he says, "I'm really sorry that I'm dressed like this." They're like, "No, that's totally cool." He got a call back the next day, and they told him, they said, "Wear exactly what you wore yesterday." And he's like, "Wait, they were just like my street clothes." So the clothing that you see him in these commercials, that's just his street clothes. And it was just totally a fluke. That wasn't like done by some big set designer and all this kind of stuff. It was his own just street clothes. I thought that was a great story.
You win some, you lose some, right?
Telling you. Let's see here. David Goodman says, "Nice to see you, George. Good to see you. Another aid or prevention for heartburn is drinking seltzer or club soda. I realized that after noticing that none of my European relatives or friends had antacids or Prilosec." It's funny that you say that because I have my seltzer right here. So I'm just going to keep that here right by my side. And that's from my Soda Stream. So I love that. All right. So we have some more guests. Let's see. David is on. David, how are you?
Hey, good to finally meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. Son of a gun. You are real.
I am.
Where are you from, David? You said Ohio?
Yep, Ohio, Southwest Ohio.
Now, Peg Bell is also from Ohio. Peg Bell, where are you in Ohio?
I'm in Mount Gilead, which is north central.
Is also from Ohio. Peg Bell, where are you in Ohio?
North central Ohio. I'm in Mount Gilead, which is north central.
All right, excellent. Everybody mute their mics when they're not talking. Let's see. Alistair is coming on. And David, what did you do today?
I changed some wheels on a guy's Can-Am for him, and I didn't do much. I just got out of a massage, so I'm kind of a little woozy.
I envy you.
That feeling you get when they knock you out.
Yeah.
I got up and I was just I saw that you were live. I said, "Well, I'm going to jump on." So
yeah. When you say Can-Am, do you mean the three-wheeled motorcycle?
It's it was like a Polaris 4-wheel, one of those looks, holds 4 people. Got little
Oh,
doors,
okay,
it's,
right. Nice.
But so I've retired from a couple of my jobs, so I'm just mostly working on my apartments and things like that. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Alistair, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you, George? It's been an honor.
Yeah, man. Where do you live?
Wheeling, West Virginia. I've been a fan for a couple of years, so.
Fantastic. All
Great
right.
to finally meet you, man.
Yeah. And what did you do today?
What did I do today? Well, I had a morning shift at a local restaurant, and then right now I'm working on. Oh, before I say, hey George, I mentioned this in the chat earlier, but I was wondering your opinion on musicians as a trade. I'm a pianist myself, and well, what I'm trying to do right now is get the business up and running. But I'd like your opinion on musicians and trades and things like that. I'm currently taking a year off from school to earn money, so
I would be busking. I would get a portable keyboard, and I would set up in public somewhere, and I would do. I would have a whole bunch of sets. I would have a patriotic set. I would have a set of 70s, 80s, 90s. I would have a set of oldies, something for everybody, and put that hat out there, man. I mean, and have fun and smile a lot and have a good time. People love being around people who are having fun. That's my advice. Yeah, absolutely. We have Gonzo in the house.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, how are you, Chris? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. I just wanted to actually pitch in too with the busking thing. I was just talking about this yesterday. Busking is incredible. I highly recommend it. You can actually, depending on where are you located, roughly, like if you're in a city, you can make quite a bit doing busking. I lived off of it for a period of time.
That's awesome.
Did everybody hear that? I'm having a weird connection issue right now, so hopefully that will slow down some of that craziness. So, wow. All right. And Gonzo, tell us where you're from.
Oh man. Well, I'm in San Antonio, Texas right now.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah. So I lived in California before that. So.
Okay. So we have a nice national crowd here. No one from overseas yet, although I guess if you live overseas, we're the ones that are overseas, right? Like, it always made me laugh because I like foreign films, but we say that in America, like foreign films. What if you live in Italy? Are American films foreign films? That's what I want to know. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get a better connection here. Violin, why don't you come on? Why don't you come on live with us? We will treat you well. Bristol, England is in the house. Israel is in the house.
International.
There's another link.
George, I didn't hear what you did today.
Ooh,
I worked. Yeah, I worked at the prison. I work at a prison 3 days a week. And I work with some really bad people who did bad things. But they're very nice to me. And I shake their hands. And I tell them have a good day. So, but yeah, I work in a prison. I work in a prison. I do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And it's humbling work. And I pay attention to people that probably should have, people who should have the death penalty, and people who should not be here, people who deserve, literally deserve the ultimate punishment. But since they're not receiving the ultimate punishment, my job is to give them mercy, because I do believe that justice and mercy go hand in hand. And there's nothing I can do. Like, for instance, there's many times where the guards are just semi rude to people because they just get tired of the nonsense of the incarcerated. So, if I can add a little bit of light to someone's day, I do it. And it means a lot more to people who don't deserve it, because they expect you to not care. They expect you to treat them like crap. They don't feel entitled.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are very ashamed of what they did to become incarcerated. Most of the people I work with will never see the light of day. So I come in from the light of day, I park the truck and I walk across the grass. I go through 7 gates. I get a set of keys. I sign in, and then I go through 7 locked doors. It's a key culture. Prisons are a key culture. I go through 7 doors to get to where I spend the whole day. And at the end of the day, I go back out of 7 doors, drop off my keys, and then I walk across the grass, get in my truck, and go home. And these guys will never, ever, ever see the light of day. So it's weird when you have freedom and you're working with people who will never, ever feel grass under their feet. That's weird. So, and they know you're not there to contain them or control them, not unlike what guards do, but that's their job. That's what they do. My job is not to tell them what to do. My job is to help them. That's what I do, and it's transformative. It's really weird. That's what I did today. Let's see who else is here. Dakota is with us, and let's see. All right, who do we have new here? Who is that?
David Goodman.
David, how are you? Where do you live?
I'm very well, thanks. I'm in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, on I-95 from.
Oh, nice. And what did you do today?
Not a whole lot. I'm retired. I'm a lot older than you, George. And I love seeing you as one of the elder statesmen in this part of the internet. And it always makes me laugh because I've spent the last year learning by watching such videos and such channels about what men have to face in today's world. That was so different for me. I'm 77.
77. Wow.
Yes.
Well,
I spend my time bringing light and joy and happiness and good feelings into other people's lives. It's the greatest way in the world to live.
Boy, you're not kidding.
Yeah, just fabulous.
It's a great way to live. It really is.
Yes.
All right, we lost Peg. I think Peg might be on her way back. Possibly. Hey, listen, what I would like you to do is, if you're not talking, mute your microphone on the bottom left. Just tap that little mic icon. That way we don't get any feedback. So whoever, yeah. Yep.
Hey, George.
Yes.
Said my name perfectly when I came in. How did you know that's how it's pronounced?
Because I have a friend with that same exact spelling.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
99%, higher than 99% butcher my name the first time. So I'm very impressed.
Right. That's awesome. All right. Peg is coming back. There's Peg.
I'm being light and joy and happiness and good feelings into other people's lives. It's the greatest place in the world to live.
Ah,
Well,
she's
you're
got
not-
the pipe.
You're not kidding.
Yeah, just fabulous.
It's a
Peg,
great
tell
way
us
to
about the pipes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
All right. we
Yes.
lost Peg.
Oh, okay.
think
Am I?
Peg
No.
might be on the way back.
You're here. You're hearing feedback.
What I would like you to do is, if you're not talking,
Yes.
mute
Um,
your microphone on the bottom left. Just tap that little mic icon.
Okay.
That way we don't get any feedback.
Can you hear me now?
Whoever, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Great. Well, the story about the pipe. I'm not really a pipe smoker.
Yes.
My husband
Said my name perfectly when I came
passed
in.
away a few
How did
years
you
ago,
know, that's how it's
and
pronounced?
he was the pipe smoker,
Because
and
I
I would
have a friend
light
with
his pipe,
that same
pack his
exact
pipe,
spelling.
light it, and hand it off to him.
Really?
So every now and again, I'll light up the pipe with this Captain Black,
Butcher my name the first time. So
ah,
I'm very impressed.
Right.
and just to get the aromatic smell in the house. I love it.
All right. Peg is
That's
coming
great.
back.
All right, Peg, I think what's happening is you need to mute YouTube because you're getting feedback from the actual YouTube channel.
Okay. All right. Is that better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. That's
Oh, you
fantastic.
can hear me, Gonzo? Yes. Okay, great. All right. Sorry for, this is new technology for me too. But as far as the pipes go, my husband was a pipe smoker, and oftentimes we'd go on road trips, and I'd want his hand.
You are a widow.
And I would
You're-
load his pipe, pack it, and light it up and hand it over to him. And he called his pipe his pacifier, and I have a little collection of them, and they're very dear to me. And I like the smell of Captain Black, so every now and again I'll light it up just like incense, so I can have the smell in the house.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. And how long have you been widowed, Peg?
I'm going to unmute now. Pack his pipe, light it, and hand it off to him. So every now and again, I'll light up the pipe with this Captain Black. And just to get the aromatic smell in the house. I love it.
That's great. All right, Peg, I think what's happening is you need to mute YouTube because you're getting feedback from the actual YouTube channel.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
That's all I've got.
Okay. But let me ask you this, Peg. How long have you been a widow? Now I can't hear you at all, Peg.
That is correct. I am a widow.
Okay. For how long?
I'm going to unmute now. I've been widowed for, oh gosh, like 2 years, 6 months.
Okay. So that's relatively recent then. Yeah, there's quite a delay here. Does anyone know what needs to be done to stop that delay?
Could be internet issues, either on your or her side.
Mm-hmm.
It could
Okay.
be that there's a second tab open. There's like a second tab open that needs to be closed.
Okay, yeah, Gonzo said that. There's a second tab that needs to be closed.
Okay.
Now I can't hear you at all, Peg.
There. How about now?
Yeah, can you hear us?
I can
now?
hear you now.
Okay, great. I turned off the like the YouTube, like I was not participating but watching. Thank you. I've been widowed for 2 years, 6 months from a wonderful man, and so here I am. George has been very helpful in helping me. I want to say navigate the way into the new world. Being married for 25 years, it's a whole new world out there. I feel like I must have been living in a vacuum.
Yeah,
But,
Peg, let me ask, were you, did your husband, was he ill or was it a sudden death?
He had cancer, bladder cancer that metastasized. So
Okay.
he lived 4 years after his diagnosis. So
Okay.
and once it spread to his lungs, it just took off like a brush fire.
Mm-hmm.
And he passed away at home and in my arms. And it was, I don't want to say it was a Hallmark movie, but yeah, if it had to be that way. And his last words to me were thank you. And I told him I loved him, and his last words to me were thank you. And what's too much information perhaps, but being a person that likes to write all kinds of things down, I've journaled for a long time, but during his demise, knowing that he had maybe a week to 10 days to live, I interviewed him. I don't know, that may seem bizarre to you guys, but
No.
so I was able to catch all of the not all of them, but a lot of the Bernieisms and stuff he said to me, and just some of the quirky things that he would say. I mean, he's doing really bad, but never complained. And so I'm glad I have those notes that I took. Were very precious to me. Too much information.
What an interesting.
Perhaps, but I would.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I'll tell you why not at all, because that's real life. That's real life. You got what, 4 years with him after the cancer diagnosis?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yes,
that's
indeed.
a blessing right there.
Yes, it is. And I it's not really fun, but it kind of is. Since it spread to his kidneys, and his kidneys he couldn't make pee, so he had these tubes come out of his back where his kidneys are. And I said, you make the perfect travel partner, because we don't have to stop off the road so you can go pee. Little capsules that went down his back. But
that's a trip.
He was a trooper. God love him.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Peg.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll mute.
Hey, we have a new fella on. Hello there, young man. How are you?
Hello.
Hey there. What's your name?
Hello. Greg. How's everyone?
Hi, Greg. Where do you live?
I'm a Ohioite as well.
Ah, okay. And what did you do today, Greg?
Well, first thing, woke up, drank my coffee, Vortex method.
Nice.
Very important.
Yes.
All my Vortex users stand up.
Well, he just disappeared. That's interesting. It's funny. Never a dull moment here, right? When you do these live things. Oh, maybe he just came back on. Let's see. All right, people are back. David is back and Dakota is back. Dakota, how are you? Where do you live?
Hey, how's it going, George? I live in Florida.
Whereabouts in Florida?
Bradenton.
Oh, nice.
Kind of by Tampa.
Yeah, I have some friends in Bradenton. Yeah, Gulf Coast, beautiful area, definitely.
Yeah, it is.
And what did you do today?
I had school today, college. I did that probably from like 9 to 11. Then I was in the library grinding away at math problems for about 3 hours. So my head hurts, so now I'm just enjoying a cigar.
Nice. What is your major?
Computer science.
Wow, that's pretty cerebral.
Yeah, it's my head hurts at the end of the day, yeah, for sure.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Holy cow. And how long have you been watching this channel?
Maybe 5 years.
A
5
long
or 6
time.
years. I started watching when I
Long
was like
time.
maybe a junior in high school.
Yeah. Probably when I had the big beard, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's when I used to do live broadcasts with the big beard. It was just basically like kind of a freak show. It was like a spectacle. People would like log on to YouTube and they're like, "Who the heck is this weirdo?" And I think I got my original following just because of like the
Just the
weirdo
beard
factor.
community.
Yeah, just the beard community. It was just it was
Mhm.
pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. Well, thanks for joining us. David is back with us today. Good to have you back. David, what are you in a greenhouse or something?
Yeah, I stepped into the greenhouse. It's a little warmer in here.
You got any crops started?
Yes, I do. I just started yesterday. I don't know if you can see any of it. I've got them in a little extra heated thing, so they'll.
Nice. And what do you have? What do you?
Starting up. What was that?
What are you planting? What did you plant?
I couldn't hear it. You're breaking up.
Oh, yeah. What did you plant? What are you starting?
Oh, so far I just started a lot of like hot peppers and tomatoes and stuff. Usually I have these all already sprouted and a couple inches tall, but I'm a little late this year. So
Yeah. When will you transplant them from the greenhouse to outside, or will they stay in the greenhouse?
They'll go. They'll go. I'll probably after probably May, maybe the middle of May. I'll put them out. I got some raised beds that I'll put them out in.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. Every year, I mean, they used to say what Mother's Day for, the Northeast region, you put stuff out, you plant after Mother's Day or on Mother's Day. And one year there was a trend of warm, sunny weather.
Yep.
It was like around now, and you get a little too brave and you get a little cocky and you put your plants out there, and then it can still get below freezing. And
I did that last year. I got a little cocky and I put the stuff out and 2 days early, and I lost. I mean, I went out and covered everything that was outside, but it got down. It wasn't frost. It froze them. And because I thought, well, they're covered, everything will be great. I've got everything covered, but it got down to 29 just for an hour, and that it froze everything, and I lost everything, and I had to start all over again. So that's what 2 days being a little bit 2 days too early.
So do you agree with me that Mother's Day is about the right time?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the day that they claim here. They claim that as long as you stick with that, you'll be safe no matter what.
It was funny. I was talking to somebody the other night on the live stream here, and I forget. I don't know if it was Lindy. Now she's in North Carolina. I don't know if it was her or somebody in South Carolina. I forget. But of course, that's a different zone. And I'm not familiar with the planting calendar in different zones. And their planting was the end of February. And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. They're definitely a lot further south then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
as far as like a lot of people start, I mean, there's a lot of people that start. I mean, there's people out in Oklahoma and Missouri and places like that. They have their tomato plants started by the end of January, but then they grow them inside, a lot of the time. So
yeah.
But
Yeah.
but there's
Peg,
oh, go ahead.
Peg, do you plant where you are?
Yes, and nothing's been planted yet. My fields have been tilled,
Okay.
and I share crop with my neighbor, and it's going to be hay this year. Other than that, it's been soybean or corn.
Okay. Nice. Nice. And all right, you're in Ohio. Do you have Amish people near where you live? You people that are from Ohio. Do you
Yes.
have the Amish near you? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Holmes
When we
County.
had work, we would trailer them off to get their feet trimmed or shoes, whatever was needed. We trailer them off and get them to it because they just have the touch. I mean, that's their business, part of their business.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to travel an hour to get to Amish country. I don't start seeing the Amish until I get to about Lancaster County, and I'm just outside of Philly. So for me, I have to travel about an hour before I start seeing horse and buggies.
Well, the funny thing is that when my mom was living, I had a home healthcare worker that she lived really in the midst of the Amish people, and she's the only person I've ever heard of to get T-boned by an Amish cart. Everybody was okay, but it took her window out.
Oh my gosh, imagine that. Holy cow. Did you know what the Pennsylvania and Ohio have very big Amish communities, but there is also a very big Amish and Mennonite community in where Dakota lives down there. I don't know where, but I know they're in maybe Sarasota area. Have you ever seen any horse and buggies or?
Yes, they mostly live in an area called Mayaka, which is about maybe 30, 40 minutes from where I live. You'll see some Amish communities there.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, it's almost like you're going back in time when you see them. It's just, they're not, they don't seem to be concerned with the same things that we are concerned with. It's like a simpler lifestyle. I'm sure it comes with its own set of issues, but I don't think that they are pining to live life like we do. Whereas we look at them when we go, the simple life.
George.
Yes.
You just mentioned a simple life. What do you think about homesteading and like building a farm and everything out in the country and like your own workshop and everything?
I think it's a worthy goal. It's probably something that I will eventually do. I know, do you guys know Jennifer Molesky?
Yes.
Jennifer and her husband are going to be homesteading. They're looking to move out of where they are and do some homesteading themselves. Look at David's got the chickens out there. That's a great view. I love it. Peg lives on a farm. So Peg, would you call what you like a lot of younger people are calling it homesteading? Would you call what you do homesteading, or you just say you live on a farm?
I don't do homesteading, and I do live on a farm. It's only 27 acres, but I qualify as a farm. I have farm taxes, and so yeah, I would. But it's not homesteading by a farm means. I mean, I've raised animals, crops.
You get the CAUV or whatever they call it. I used to have that.
Yes.
It saves a lot of money.
Saves, yeah. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, definitely. I posted today on Gab. I said something. I am more impressed with your new tractor than your new car. And so many people, I can't believe how many people in the that follow me have are homesteading and have small farms. And I know in the Pennsylvania area they call these little farms like gentlemen's farms. I don't. Why is it called a gentleman's farm? They even use that phrase in the real estate listings, a gentleman's farm. Does anyone know why?
Sometimes I think they have a newer style house and they're more of a hobby farm in a way. I think that's what I gather from that. It's not like Peg's doing a real farming operation, where they have fields with beans and stuff. But a lot of gentlemen's type farms it's just kind of they got some land, a couple barns, they might have a cow or something, and almost like a homesteader.
Okay. Interesting. What qualifies someone's property to be a homestead? Like, what are the qualifications? What's the difference between a homestead and a farm?
Or prep.
Can I share my opinion? I'd say that a homestead is more like carving your living out of the wilderness, like they did 200 years ago. So even if maybe it's an abandoned meadow or something, or, maybe it was a farm 100 years ago, but now it's all grown over and wooded, and now you have to dig it all out again. So, that to me would be a homestead. Okay.
My opinion of homesteading is that they would be nearly self-sufficient off of their own land, whether it comes milk from the cows or goats, crops that they grow and can or freeze or however they want to preserve it. So they're sustaining themselves by what they grow, animal or crop. And if you want to go even further, they might even go off grid as far as, if they want to do that, heat their house with wood or wood burner, go solar even. But that's my interpretation of homesteading.
I hear some wood burning stoves are getting illegal now, though.
Well, I'm sure that's the truth. They all have to pass code. I have it at my house. I have a giant wood burner downstairs, so I can either heat with wood or else I can use, Columbia gas, depending on what I wanted to do. I'd have to shut the gas off, but no, I'm not a homesteader. It's hard enough as it is. One person trying to take care of this is just nuts.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right, we got a super chat. Let me read this. George, in response to today's episode, just wanted to say that you are one of my mentors going through divorce. You helped me save myself. Thanks. Patrick M., it's my pleasure. And I give you a blessing as you travel in this new land as a newly single person. And that's very difficult. You can do it. You have a life ahead of you. It's hard. It's not going to be easy, but it can be done. A lot of us have done it, and we lived to tell about it. So I'm glad you're doing okay. Definitely.
Hang in there,
Peter.
Do
Definitely.
not give up.
Exactly. Let's see who else is on. David is back with us again, and let's see. All right, David is back with us. Hello, David. 77-year-old David. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, David. You got to unmute your microphone. All right. Well, we are on StreamYard. Someone asked if this is a Zoom call. It's a StreamYard call, which is an app that allows you all to do this. And all I got to do is click a couple of things, and then you're all on. So that's pretty easy. This is only my second open forum. I did one the other night, and we had about a total of 15 people on, 10 at a time. Carla says, I have family at Workman Temple Homestead. Okay, that's cool. Let me put the link back up again. Here we go. There's a link. If anybody wants to join the chat, this is no agenda. It's an open forum, and we're just having a friendly little chat. Some people have their drinks with them. Some people have their pipes and cigars with them, and so that's cool. No agenda. Anthony Velasquez is with us from California, I believe.
From occupied California, to be specific.
they are, aren't they?
Or what was it? I
Now,
forget the last one. He had a good one.
Gonzo, you know Peg, right? You know Peg.
It sounds really familiar.
You know Peg from Ohio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's funny
I probably know him from Tony's.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know me probably from anyone else, but I know him because I watch your brother's program when I can.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I have to. I think you're regular in Tony's streams, or
as long as I can get a nap in. They're so late. I'm an early to bed, early to rise person.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't put a face to the name, so it's cool.
Yeah, I'm an early to bed guy. I go to bed at 8 o'clock every night, and I get up at 4 o'clock. This morning I got up at 3:30. I just woke up, and I hate laying there trying to go back to sleep. So I'm like, screw it. I just get vertical and go downstairs, and it's all good. Start my coffee.
That's quite a view, David.
Yeah,
I don't see any boats out there.
Oh no, there's no boats. I'm the only one living on this whole lake. I don't know if you can see it.
Wow. Are there fish in there?
Yes, there are. Actually, take a look. I don't know if you can see it. Over there, there's a couple of guys probably overfishing. I don't know if I can point this with my phone.
Interesting.
Yeah. So actually, it's a gravel pit, but it's nice having the whole place to yourself. So
better watch out. I'll come up and build a cabin on the opposite shore.
I don't mind. There's plenty of room. I mean, that's all private property, but you're not supposed to fish in it, but I see people over there all the time. That's all I'll say. So
I watch a lot of videos of people camping and survivalist stuff and people pitching tents and different places, and I'm hooked on those videos. I can't stop watching them.
yeah, they're fun. It's fun. I used to camp a lot, but I don't do as much anymore. I just tried to get a place where I always wanted to live on the water, and my goal was to retire and be on the water in Florida in the winter, and then be in a nice waterfront place, up here in the summer. And I just lucked into this old beat up house with a garage and an acre of ground, and then I decided this is where it's going to be at. It's not probably the water you would look for, but it'll do.
Ah, fantastic. Excellent. We have Pete Hammond with us. How are you, Pete? Nice to see you.
George, great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Where do you live, Pete?
I am in Rhode Island, and I'm the guy that sent you that pound of Dave's coffee about a year ago. Remember that?
Oh, I do. I remember that well. Thank you, Pete. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. having a pipe here with some fine Peter Stokeby luxury twist flake.
Oh, beautiful. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And what did you do today, Pete?
Well, I'm working at home, George, and working for a defense contractor, and just, biding my time. Pretty busy, actually, and waiting to get back to whatever the new normal is.
Yeah, I hear you. At least you have the opportunity to work at home. I think that's kind of cool.
It is, and it's a blessing, George. So many people have lost their jobs because of this nonsense, and it's crazy. And I just, I pray for our country and our nation that we can just. It's crazy, and you never know what the next day is going to bring. But
yeah,
hanging in there,
Yeah. I think we're all doing that. I think we've all had to adapt. I mean, if you don't adapt, you're going to go crazy with all these weird regulations. I mean, I've never been so regulated in my entire life,
Right, and for you, your profession, you probably, at least in your barbering profession, you've got to jump through all kinds of hoops, I imagine.
Well, the hair industry was shut down in Pennsylvania for about 4 months, nonstop. I mean, it was just 4 months where the doors were locked. And so we were all encouraged to apply for unemployment, which most of us got. But when we opened back up again, the regulations were crazy. No more waiting rooms. Let me tell you about what happens in a barbershop or a salon. No more waiting rooms, no magazines in the waiting rooms. You can't offer people coffee or tea or soda. They have to wait in their car. They have to call the front desk. Then they got to get led in the front door. They got to take a pump of hand sanitizer and then get their temperature taken. And then with a mask on their face, they come back to my little men's grooming studio and they get a haircut. I have to disinfect everything in between clientele. And then it was like that for 6 months. And you can only be at 50% capacity, not unlike restaurants. So it really was a drag. It was really a drag. And I made a good living doing beard sculpting, and I wasn't able to do that. Obviously, when people have a mask on, you can't do that. No. And then they just open that back up, but they say, well, you can take the mask off, shave somebody, trim their beard, and then put the mask back on. It's like a big game. And a lot of salons and barbershops closed, especially older ones, because a lot of older stylists and barbers like I have a barber chair in a private studio. It's just me in there. But out in the main salon area where all the ladies are, they got to have like plexiglass shields and all this kind of stuff in between. And it's just a big buzzkill. So a lot of older barbers and older stylists who were like thinking about retirement, they pulled the plug and they said, that's it, I'm done. So I saw salons and barbershops that were open for 20 and 30 years go up for sale for $7,000, $10,000. They just want to give it away because they're done with it. So the industry took a beating. It did.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Is your dad still a barber?
Yes. And he cuts hair in the garage. So the neighbors come by and he does it in the garage. Hey, we have Tanner with us. Tanner, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Where do you live?
The sunny state of Arizona.
Oh, nice. And what did you do today, Tanner?
I did a lot of yard work. I'm preparing my backyard for a tiny house I've been building for a while. Like
Sweet.
the tiny house on wheels.
Oh, nice. Nice. Tell us about it.
Well, it's I've got one made out of steel frame because it's a lot more durable, and steel cladding and stuff, because wood and plastic and stuff don't last in Arizona sun.
Okay.
And it's 24 feet long. It's with a gooseneck, and I'm gonna be going around to a lot of the national parks with it after I get my truck all fixed up for it.
You're gonna have to explain to me and everyone else what is a gooseneck? What is that?
That's like a fifth wheel. So you got the regular flatbeds, which just hook up to a regular trailer hitch, and then the gooseneck is the one that basically does an L and goes over into the actual truck bed, so it is more balanced on the axle properly. So it's better. It makes it a lot safer for towing. Is the main thing.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us. This is awesome. And it's open forum. We talked about everything from farming to homesteading, to some cigars and pipes, and Amish. We talked about the Amish people. Tanisha, join us. Tanisha, click the link and come on board. We like to think this is a friendly stream, and this is only my second live stream like this. Usually when I do a stream, it's me talking and teaching and stuff. And so I'm new to just opening it up, because you never know who's going to come on. And I don't restrict anyone. I'm very light with the ban hammer. So a lot of people come on and they don't think it's serious. And then some do. And it ends up becoming like a nice, I guess, kind of like a front porch chat session.
We appreciate that, George.
Yeah. Let me post that link.
Yeah,
I wonder sometimes if we're more sociable nowadays in these days of COVID and multimedia or social media than we were back before these things were available.
That's actually an interesting concept. It really is. Well, there's Tanisha.
Hi.
Welcome.
How you doing, sweetie?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually at the salon, George. I'm wrapping. I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Did you work? You worked all day today?
Okay, hold on. I got to turn the video off. Let's see. YouTube. Let me stop the video. Okay, hold on. Okay. Yes, I did not work the full day. I'm doing half days for a while until I get clearance from the doctor on the 29th, and then I'll go to full days if that's okay with her. So yeah, I only had one client today. Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, that's got to be a lot after going through major surgery. That wasn't like, that wasn't minor surgery.
No, I have to. Hi there. No sudden movements. I can only lift 15 pounds. I'm a little bit slower, and I just have to be careful with reaching and bending. And so I just have to kind of take it easy. But it hasn't been too bad.
I don't want to get too personal about your surgery, but was it a big incision, or was it like that kind of surgery where they just do like those little incisions?
It was a pretty big incision. It's similar to the incision that a woman would get if you were having a cesarean section. My. Yeah, it was a pretty big incision. And it's interesting because the pain that I was going through in the 6 months leading up to it was on the right side, but the major problem was on the left. And in terms of healing, the right side of the wound has healed up really quick. The left side is taking a little bit longer. So, you know, go figure that I was feeling. Hi, Peg. Thank you so much for your positive words, your words of encouragement, your prayers. Thank you. Good to see you. Yeah. So yeah, it was something, but and it was the first time I got up to walk after the anesthesia, I almost collapsed. I was so, everything was spinning. I was so nauseous, but you know, after that initial crazy feeling, they had me up walking within 12 hours of getting off the operating table. So yeah.
Isn't that something? They try to get you up as quickly. It's almost insane. Like, what are you trying to do? Torture me? But they want to get you up as quick as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got up. That initial time was a doozy. But then after that, I was doing laps up and down the floor. So Dad was there. So he helped me walk back and forth a couple of times. The boyfriend was there. So he walked me back and forth. And by the end of the second day, I was walking by myself, and they were just kind of supervising me from a distance. So
were you dragging like the IV pole, you know, where you want to drip and all that?
They were kind enough to disconnect me from the IV so that I could walk without, you know, dragging things. So yeah, I was disconnected from all of that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I did have the band that says fall risk. So, you know, so they were watching me pretty closely. And then that first time they actually put the little, it's like a safety, a little tether. They put them around your waist so that the nurse can, you know, she can grab you if you fall. So I had to walk with that the first couple of times, and that was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember many years ago, I guess I was in high school, and I did some personal care for a man who was kind of like in the end stages of Parkinson's disease. And I remember the training that I went through. I would stay overnight at his house. I was like an in-home caretaker kind of thing. And the guy was in his 80s. And in my training, I was probably maybe 16 or 17 years old. They always said, grab him by the belt right above his butt. And that way, if he's about to fall, like, you're not going to grab his arm because you could pull his arm out of the socket. And if he's losing his balance, you can control him better from grabbing his belt, like right above his bottom. And that way you can guide him as he's walking from room to room. And if he's going to fall and you can't stop the fall, you just lower him to the ground. Don't reach out and try to save him because because his bones were fragile and you could pull an arm out of the socket or something like that. So I'll never forget that. But it was probably similar to that harness, or was this thing in the back of your, like in the middle of your back? What was it?
Yeah, it was a harness. It was right up under, it was between, because they didn't want to, if ideally they would put it kind of around where my belt would go, but the incision and everything was there. So it was actually like right, I want to say at my rib cage, the harness. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that was exactly what they had explained to me about how they would stop me from falling that way. And they did tell me, you know, all of what you shared about how that you don't want to grab someone by the arm or leg or anything like that. So yeah, that makes sense, that what you shared about the gentleman. So
I remember I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for a week, kind of like similar to what you were. And I remember trying to get out of the bed after being in bed for 4 days because they wouldn't even let me get up to go to the bathroom. I had to go pee in a bottle kind of thing. And at that time, there was no number 2. And when I went to get up, a nurse saw me and she says, whoa, 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 whoa. And she's, what are you doing? She says, you haven't walked in like 4 days. She says, you're going to need some help. And I go, I'm just going to get up and walk. I just want to go to the bathroom. She says, you don't realize you haven't used your legs in 4 days. It's not going to be as easy as you think. And I never experienced that before. So she grabbed another nurse and then they walked me, one on each side. And I'm like, you're right. I hadn't supported my weight for 4 days. And you don't just jump out of bed and start walking. Unmute yourself, Tanisha.
Oh, wait, here I go. Oh, yes, you cannot. It was the most those first steps. It's so good that you had a nurse on either side. Yeah, it is the most humbling experience. You just cannot walk like that. You have to have some support because you'll fall. So, wow.
Has anyone else here ever been in the hospital for more than a couple days, where you're like literally limited to a hospital bed? Have you ever been in a hospital? Peg, tell us about it.
I'm curious, Peg.
Well, this was a very, very, very long time ago. But I can attest to, I think it was 14. They didn't know what was wrong. So it's like, okay, we're going to let you suffer in pain here until we figure out what it is, and it's like, okay. So finally they figured it out and I had surgery. And at that time, that many years ago, it's not like they immediately kicked you out 2 days after you had your surgery. And so I had to have like the vacuum tubes, bottles to, get stuff out and all that, this and that. But I remember, and it was quite painful, but the nurse was saying, well, we need you to get up and walk. And, that's fine. And, but I remember being in bed for so long, there's something that they call foot drop. And that's actually where, instead of if you could lay on your bed and your toes would point up towards the ceiling, your calves start to contract. And then when you go to stand on them, it stretches your calves. And that's what they call foot drops. And I was starting to get that a little bit. So everything was fine. But yes, that was a long time in the hospital, I felt. Just get me home.
Wow. Yeah. 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 It's funny. Some of the worst food I ever had was in the hospital. And you would think that there would be good food or better food in the hospital, because it's a place of healing, but it's worse than like middle school cafeteria food. It's just horrible.
I had my hip replaced back about 5 years ago, and I can relate to a lot of your experiences there. And I was on my back, but they had me up the next day walking. The worst thing was trying to go to the bathroom after being catheterized. That was a nightmare.
Oh gosh. What's weird, Pete, is when, I don't know if it's worse for men or for women, when someone else, a paid stranger, has to do personal care for you. That's just, it's humiliating. And I mean, they do it.
Yes.
They do it like it's nothing, but I don't do it like it's nothing. I'm not used to a stranger, doing personal care for me. And it was very odd, very, very odd. And I just, and I don't have a lot of hospital experiences, so I don't think you ever get used to it.
No.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah. That using the bathroom, that's a good point, Pete. Using the bathroom after being catheterized. So even the removal of the catheter was really weird. I don't want to say it was traumatic, because the nurse who removed it, she had one in a previous surgery, and she described it exactly as it was supposed to happen. She's like, okay, you're going to feel this, and it's going to tingle a little bit, and then you'll feel a little bit of a pop, and then it'll be over. And I promise I'll talk you through the whole process. And so she did it, so I wasn't in shock, when it happened.
Right.
But just trying to go after that, when everything in your core is in pain, it was, that first bathroom trip was really hard. And I did have a couple of instances when I first got home where, I fell off the toilet and just crazy stuff like that. So Fortunately, it wasn't far down. So
Yeah, right.
yeah.
My wife,
Well,
when she had my son, and we had a son kind of late in life. I was 46 and she was 2 years younger. And so we're no spring chickens, and we're having our first child, and it was her first child. And yeah, same deal. She got, she said she really had to go to the bathroom, and they yanked the catheter out, and she could not go. And they actually had to recatheterize her in order for her to go, and she was just in pain, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling when they put something in you like that. I know when I was in the hospital last year, I had what they call an NG tube, where it goes in through your nose and down into your stomach. And that was in me for a week. And going in was weird. That was weird. And they did kind of talk me through it. And then the day before I was discharged, they had to kind of talk me through it coming out. And that's a weird feeling because you're not used to, like, I'm so used to sensations on the outside of my body, not on the inside. So when they're pulling that tube out, I felt like it was the movie like Total Recall or something. I just had that, when they pulled that thing out of Schwarzenegger's nose, I did, and I'm like, my God, how much of that hose is in? They just kept like pulling it out. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for it to end. And it was so odd. It was just a weird feeling. And then at the very end, it just is like, boop, just comes out. And you're like, wow, that seemed like an hour. Anthony.
Hey, how you doing, George? How's everyone doing?
Good, man. Where are you from, Anthony?
Hi, Anthony.
Toms River, New Jersey.
Woo! All right. Not too far from me. And what'd you do all day today?
I drove unruly school kids in a school bus. Now, I really feel bad for these students. Everything with wearing the mask.
Yeah.
There's no more social distancing on the school bus. I just want to state that.
Yeah, right.
There was. We were doing hybrid. We had A and B days, but last week all the students came back, and it's 4 days a week. Friday they sanitize the schools. We have to sanitize our buses, but you could tell these students have been cooped in their house because they are just so excited that they're together on the bus.
Yes.
They're just yapping away and a little sarcastic, but I kind of feel good that they're together, but I also feel bad that with the mask situation. I feel bad for myself. I got to wear the mask on the bus.
Yeah, right. No one's wearing a mask now, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, so my client is over 6 feet away, so I have to put it back on if she comes closer, but I'm gonna have to put it back on at some point. So
yeah, right.
I've actually been very fortunate where I am. I live in a small town, and I've actually only worn a mask once the whole year.
Wow, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
What small town, Tanner? Where are you? So I can maybe consider moving there.
I'm in Kingman, Arizona. It's the first town before California. It's been hasn't been bad here. In fact, I think the only people who end up being forced to wear a mask are the actual students, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Amrit says, hi, all. Hello, Amrit. How are you? Why don't you join us? Let's see who else is coming. Alistair is with us again. How are you, sir? Well, he's trying to get with us, I guess. Drew is with us. Hey, Drew, how are you? Drew, why don't you click the link? I don't know. I don't even know if I can actually have. Hey, you doing all right?
I'm indeed using my brand new fountain pen too.
Oh, sweet. Nice. Nice.
George, do you know anything about the manuscript pens? It's the one I have. I'll show it to you here real quick.
I don't know them.
I found one over at Hobby Lobby. They're incredibly hard to find. But this is what it looks like. It's a bit of a poor light, but it's
turn on your camera. Turn on your camera.
Is the camera not on?
Yeah. You got to turn it on.
Hang on. Is it the lighting that needs fixed or what?
I don't know. All I see is a black square.
You might have a cover on the lens.
No, I don't. Hang on. I'll try something. Anything?
Nope, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Drew says he's still working, otherwise he would come on. Okay, that's cool, Drew. That's cool.
So no, she just put on her mask. Do you think I should put mine on?
I think she had to go back and work with her client. She's actually at the salon right now. Amrit, where are you at? Put it in the chat. Tell us where you're at.
I'm back.
You are back.
Yes.
You are back. That's good.
Hey, George, this is a great thing to do, just to get people to communicate. I think the human race has been longing to reach out to people, to communicate, and this is a great thing you're doing.
I want to piggyback on Anthony's point. So my brother, he just really enjoyed the discussion we had the other day when you first tried this, and we were both saying that it's so nice to be in a situation where you can have just a discussion, a debate, with no judgments, and we can agree to disagree. And it was just, it's so not like the way things are now, where everyone is wanting to shout into an echo chamber and this,
oh, I know,
crazy neoliberal news media. And then on the so-called conservative media, it gets kind of like, it's the same. Yeah. So this is very refreshing. Thank you.
Yeah. That was, Tanisha, that really was fun. I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed meeting your brother, definitely. What an interesting fella. Ian, join us if you can. Our channel's with us. Hello there, good to see you. But yeah, when you think about all the people that pop in and pop out, even if people can just stop in for a couple minutes and say hello, that's totally cool. There's no big commitment when you join an open forum. And I think I can only have 8 to 10 people on the screen with this particular app. But it was a nice discussion on Sunday night. It was cool. I definitely appreciated it. Did you all see my conversation with Agnieszka from Poland? Did you happen to see that?
No, I did. Yeah.
And what did you think of that?
That was like about 6 months ago or so.
Well, actually, I just did it on Sunday. I did it. The most recent one was on Sunday.
I missed that one, but I remember you were talking to a young woman from, I think it was Poland, some time
Yeah,
ago.
that's her. Yeah, that
Okay.
you're right. That was about 6 months ago. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it? Speaking of interesting, when we did the open forum on Sunday night, well, we had Jen Molesky with us. That was fun. We had Lindy with us. That was fun. Tanisha, you were with us. Trying to think who else was in the Lucas was
Marty
with us.
was on.
Marty was on. Yeah.
Marty and Jared. Marty and Jared.
Getting a little intense.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. It got funny. It got funny for a while there. Yeah. Jared's an interesting guy. Jared had a blog called Legends of Men. He's a phenomenal writer. He really is a good writer. And I love the way his mind works. And he ended up getting a press pass to one of the conferences that I speak at. We met in person and hit it off. But let me tell you my background, the backstory with Jared. He and I had some kind of, I'm not even sure if it was a disagreement, but it was something where we didn't see eye to eye. And it was on Twitter. And this was like a couple of years ago. And, you know, people are so quick to, like, I can be pretty quick to just like go into fighting mode right away. I can just have a short fuse, and I admit it, and I'm working on it. So maybe by the time I'm 90, that problem will be fixed. But he and I got into it, and I said, "Well, call me, dude. Just call me." And I private messaged him on Twitter my cell number, and he called me. Rather than this impersonal, oh yeah, you know what I mean, just kind of like the stupid stuff that you see online. All of a sudden, he's like, "Hey man, it's nice to meet you." I go, "Jared, good to meet you too." And we started talking, and then next thing you know, we actually became friends. So that was kind of a cool scenario. Yeah. John Boston says, "George, you are Italian. It's not a short fuse. It's just being Italian." Oh, that's funny. That is funny.
Italian in the house.
Yeah, right. Well, we have a couple other guests here with us tonight. Ricardo, how are you, sir? From the Netherlands, I believe, right?
Yes. Thank you. Good evening. I'm okay. Thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah. Good. Doing good. All right. So you're from the Netherlands. What did you do all day today?
Yes. Well, to be honest, the gym is open again, but only outside. So I went to the gym today. I got my day off today, and we were there with 4 people maximum. But it's a good thing to be, participating again and being active again. So that's really nice. Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. I definitely recognize your last name there from the comments section. Yeah, definitely. Good. Thanks for joining us. Now, all right. So for me, it's 8:20 in the evening. So you got to be what, 4 or 5 hours ahead of me, right?
Yeah. Well, it's 1:20 nighttime. So true.
Wow.
And I was actually in bed, but I saw you were live, and I thought, okay, let's go back downstairs.
Oh wow, that's something. I can't believe it's that late for you, and you're still up. Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
exactly.
Will you work tomorrow, or go to school, or what's your thing?
Tomorrow I'm off again. I work in healthcare, mostly into helping young adults with autism and other behavioral problems. But also I work with people with Alzheimer and I think it's dementia in English as well.
Yes.
So that's my field. It's quite broad, but I like it that way as well. So
nice. Nice. Well, good for you. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to
Awesome.
be. Also, now I have the chance. I would love to mention I really enjoyed the Open to Marriage letter she wrote once in a while. It was a really nice series to read into, and you have a nice writing style. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's actually going to be a book. I have to go away. I'm going to do a writer's retreat and go away for 3 days, and I'm actually going to finish the book.
Oh, I got something to look forward to. Great.
Yeah, it's amazing because I'm speaking at a conference, a men's conference in June, and it's not exactly what I call a. I don't want to say it's not family friendly, but it's not. Marriage is not one of the topics, but I hope to have the book done by then. It's going to be a men's conference, and it's going to be a lot of single men and divorced men and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to be talking about marriage. So we'll see how that goes over. I don't know if it'll be real popular, but I like to present a positive view. Yeah.
Perfect. Nice.
Excellent. Connor.
Hey guys.
How are you? Where do you live?
I live in Houston, but I go to Houston, Texas, and I'm a sophomore here at Texas Tech University. So I'm all the way out in West Texas. So.
Nice. And what did you do all day today?
Classes, and I got papers I'm writing for a couple of my English classes and studying and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Ah, excellent. That's good. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I wanted to pop in here because I don't know your channel demographics that well, but I've been around for a couple of years and I'm only 20, so being one of the younger people probably that watch your channel, I just wanted to say thank you because both of my grandfathers passed when I was really young. So hearing your wisdom has been very impactful for me.
Oh, that's wonderful, Connor. I think that's really cool. And I hear that story often, and I take my role very seriously when it comes to that stuff. I don't take it lightly. And I was fortunate enough to have my grandfathers when I was growing up, and I missed them. And one of the most traumatic things in my life was the loss of my grandfathers, and I still miss them greatly. And they definitely left a hole in my heart when they left this earth. So what I try to do is I have 2 boys and a girl, and a lot of my channel is for them. My oldest is my daughter. She's 25. And then I have 2 boys that are 22 and 18. And I don't see them like I want to, or like I should, or like I should have when they were growing up. So when the day comes that I'm dispatched and I have to leave this earth, they're going to have something to look back on, and kind of maybe get to know their dad, a little after the fact. So yeah, we have Tanner left. He had to go. He had to meet his parents for dinner. Tanner was in Arizona. That was cool. And someone says Pete Hammond looks OG. Got the smoking jacket on. That's Pete. Pete, do you know what OG means?
Old man. I don't know. I'm not sure.
When someone told me that I'm the OG, I'm thinking like, do you mean old guy? OG means original It means original gangster. So Pete, you are the OG of this of the stream tonight.
I'll take it. Thanks, George.
Yep.
I'm making an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah, exactly. He's the OG. Exactly. That's too funny.
What are you smoking, Pete? What tobacco is that?
This is I just got it today, actually. It's Peter Stokeby Luxury Twist Flake. I picked it up from pipesandcigars.com.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I like that very much. Very, very much. Wow. You know, it's so funny how we get people from all over the world, all over the country on this when I do these streams. I used to do live streams on Instagram probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I did them quite often, but that's when the beard was down to my belt buckle. It was huge at the time. Yeah. And it was, like I said, it was more of a spectacle than anything else. People would be going through the streams that were live. And okay, Connor, okay, cool. I appreciate it, Connor. Connor says, I have a Bible study on Zoom in 3 minutes. Thank you for having me on, George. I appreciate all the wisdom you provided and will continue to provide. Connor, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was more of a freak show because people would be looking at the live streams, and here was this Gandalf-looking guy, and like when you see a guy with a big, long white beard, you just got to know what he's saying. So I ended up getting a lot of my original audience literally just by attracting people with how I looked, and it was fun. It was fun, and I had believe it or not, I had a lot of Australian followers back then. I still do, but I'll never forget there was a whole bunch of Australian followers. PTB has a super chat and asks the question, how much would you absolutely love being a grandpa? Oh, I would love that. I can't wait. I can't wait till my kids have kids. I can't wait. It's a blessing. And I was, one of my friends, Michael Foster, has 8 children. One of his children passed away, so he has 7 children. But I still like to say he has 8 children, and his life is so rich. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And then when I did some background study on Father Josiah, who I have just become an absolute fan of in the past week, Father Josiah, an Orthodox priest out in California, he has 10 children, and wow. Yeah, that's really amazing. Really, really amazing. So Chris DeLong says, finding George has been the best find on YouTube I accidentally found. Well, Chris, let me remind you, there's no such thing as an accident. If you found this channel, you were supposed to find this channel. You're supposed to be here. You're supposed to hear the messages. I'm a strong believer in the hand of providence. And like Drew says, in a way, George is a father, a grandpa to thousands of people online, and that is true. It's funny, my son texted me the other day, because just when you think your kids aren't watching your channel, my son says, Dad, I got a French press, and I love it. And I said, oh my God, he's watching my channel. That's kind of funny.
That's good.
Family is everything.
They can be. Yes, they can be everything. Yes, they can. Ian is with us. Ian, how are you? Say hello to us.
Hello, everybody.
Hey there he is.
Hi, Ian. Hi again. Ian, did you get a chance to check out Utopia yet?
I did not know. I've been pretty busy lately.
Yeah, so George, Utopia is that series that has kind of crazy similarities to what's going on right now in the world. So.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for George.
All right, go ahead. Shoot.
So I've just been meaning to ask, what does getting unstuck mean personally to you? Because is it an end state, or is it continuous, or is it different for different people?
Yeah. I like to tell people that in my broadcasts, I incorporate things that are triggers for people, and that you're going to hear something or see something that is going to flip a switch inside you that's going to make you a different person, make you unrecognizable by this time next year. That's what getting unstuck is. Many people are in ruts in their careers, in their love life, in habits that they just keep repeating over and over. There's so much automatic behavior. And like a lot of times we get in our car. And did you ever get in your car and drive home from work and then you go, wow, I didn't even think about driving home. I just automatically, made a left, a right, and, got home. Like you don't consciously think. Think about how many things, or like when you get in your car, you start the car up, you reach over, you turn on the radio. Everybody I know does that. I made a conscious effort to not do that when I get in the car. I want to just experience the peace and quiet. The first mile of my drive to work every day, I have the windows down, so I'm breathing fresh air. But we don't realize how much automatic behavior is in our life. That's what being stuck is. A woman says to me, I keep meeting men that abuse me. And I'm like, okay. She's like, the last 5 guys would get violent with me. And I'm like, well, where are you meeting these men? And she would meet them at the same place. And I said, you got to stop that. You got to put a stop to that behavior, because what happens is you just end up attracting the same thing in your life over and over and over again. So you have to constantly incorporate the concept of getting unstuck in your life on a daily basis. Imagine getting in your car and not turning on the radio. Imagine getting in your car and taking a different route to work, even if it's just going off the route by a couple blocks. You're breaking up the neurons in your head. And I tell people all the time, when you're reading books, if you're reading a fiction book now, make sure the next book you read is a nonfiction book, and alternate between fiction and nonfiction. Take different routes to work. You want to know how I started using chopsticks? Because I wanted to get unstuck. Right now, I can use chopsticks just like someone who's used chopsticks their whole life, and just like many of you would use a fork. And what I did was, I remember when my kids were little, I remember setting the table, and you put the plates and the cups and the napkin, whatever, fork, knife, and spoon. But one night I put chopsticks, and they all sat at the table and they go, Dad, what's with the sticks? And I said, tonight we're eating with chopsticks. And this is like probably easily maybe 17, 18 years ago, something like that. And rather than everyone just shoveling their food in and then leaving the table to go watch TV or something, I said, we have to, like my one son would say, all right, I'm ready for my fork. And I'd say, no, we're eating the whole meal with chopsticks tonight. And it ended up being a fun night, but what was normally a 20-minute dinner took like an hour and a half, because they're like taking the chopsticks and stabbing the food. They're using 2 hands and trying to like put it in their mouth and whatever. And I was helping them create new neurons in their head. And to this day, my kids can use chopsticks. Go figure. And what's fascinating is that when you challenge yourself with different habits, literally different habits, you're making unstuckness a way of life. There are people who just do this, like you talk to some women, and like I encourage people just to go out dancing. Take a Friday night and go out dancing. And a lot of the women will say something like, yeah, if I could get the old man out of his recliner, maybe we'd go, or oh, he would never do that. And there's so many people that are stuck in their ways. You ever hear that phrase? They're stuck in their ways. And getting unstuck is a process. It's not an end destination. It's not a goal. And ever since the first year of this channel, I kept saying, like when I first started this channel, I said 2016 is the year you get unstuck. Then it became 2017. I would say 2017 is the year you get unstuck. And so many people over these years have applied some of these principles, and it's almost as if they got traction and something happened in their life and they became unrecognizable from the person that they were a year earlier. And it has to do with habits and mindset. You could have a mindset, but if you don't put the mindset to work, it's useless. So mindset and habits, it's almost like in Christianity when they say faith and works go hand in hand, and faith without works is dead. Same thing with mindset and habits. Mindset and habits have to go hand in hand. And then being unstuck is a lifestyle. You can go to any restaurant in the world. Nothing's intimidating. I used to take my kids, like I'll never forget my one son. We used to have like bizarre food weekend, and we had some really bizarre food, and it started out with like pig's feet that were in like this gelatinous kind of stuff. And then it got more exotic. We literally ended up eating goat's eyeballs. We had crickets. We had worms. We fried grasshoppers. We did all kinds of weird, I mean, all disgusting, really disgusting stuff. And to this day, I talk to my kids and they're like, remember when we ate grasshoppers? I'm like, yeah, I do remember that. And I actually made some videos of the kids eating some funny, like weird, bizarre foods and them describing it and whatever. And they became fearless. It tastes like chicken. But the funny thing is that, like my daughter, one of the things that we did at my home after, she'd be at her mom's house and then come to my house on the weekends. One of the things her mom would do is ask the kids, what do you want for dinner? Or if she said, we're having mac and cheese tonight. And one of the kids would say, oh, I don't want mac and cheese. We had that last week. And she'd be like, okay, what do you want? What do you want me to make you? And I'm like, so when the kids came to my house, see, I grew up in a house where if you didn't eat what mom made, you didn't eat. My mother and father would say, this is not a restaurant. My dad would say, your mother's making what she's making. If you don't eat it, then you're not eating tonight. Simple as that. So I kind of have that attitude. And I'll never forget, but mom said I can have chicken fingers. And I said, I'm not making chicken fingers, honey. You're going to eat what I'm making. I don't want that. And I'm like, well, then I guess you're not going to eat. And that was the first time they ever got any pushback from a parent, because at their mom's house, they got whatever they wanted. If they didn't want mac and cheese, she'd say, well, do you want pizza? No, mom. You want ham and cheese sandwiches? No, mom. How about grilled cheese? Okay. And she'd go through like 3 or 4 different options. And I'm like, what are you training these kids to do? Life isn't always exactly what you want. Dad's making something for dinner. You're going to eat that. If you don't want it, then you're not going to eat. So, and then I'd get a phone call or an email, the next day saying, I heard you're being mean with the kids. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go again with this nonsense. So, but by giving the kids different things, it opened up their minds. My kids will eat anything now. Absolutely anything. We've done all kinds of crazy things, as they were growing up. And I think that helped them be more flexible and unstuck. I have probably the most unstuck offspring you've ever seen, because being unstuck is a lifestyle. Like with myself, like I am not, the only routine I have is that I get up early in the morning, and that's it. That is probably the most consistent thing I do. Everything else, I have multiple options. I create a life with options all the time. And because I am so unstuck that I can handle everything that life throws at me. And I have the ability to get along with the widest range of people of size, shape, age, color, religion, race, creed, whatever. I pride myself in being able to get along with every human being. And if I don't get along with them, it's their problem, not mine, because I'm so accepting and so open and flexible with human beings. That's what being unstuck is all about, Ian, is to be able to go with the flow. Bruce Lee said, "What, be like water," in a ring when he was fighting. It was interesting. He never took punches. He went with the punch. If someone was, striking, a blow at him, he would go with that punch. And rather than stay there like a brick wall and get hit, he would go with it like that. And it would just roll off of him. And these, and you see like in martial arts and Tai Chi and all this kind of stuff, they're just kind of like the wind. They're just kind of, like what he says, it's like, be like water. So that's what being unstuck is all about. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Andrew says, I'm from the UK. I've recently found Jesse Lee Peterson. What are your views on Jesse Lee Peterson? Jesse Lee Peterson is a friend of mine. A lot of content creators and people that you know on YouTube, many of us know each other privately. We've spoken at conferences. We've been on each other's shows. So for me, he's a friend. Jesse Lee Peterson is a friend. He's like a brother to me, even though he's 71 years old. He's a little bit older than me. I consider him a friend. For many people, he's a celebrity. Like, I'm going to have some people on the channel that, like, someone said to me the other day, do you really think you can get Jordan Peterson on here? And I said, absolutely. I already had the conversation. It's going to happen. So, and I already talked to Michaela, his daughter, about it. We're gonna have it on here. We're gonna do like this with Jordan and Michaela. Just have a little chat like this. Some of the biggest YouTubers that I've had on here, and I've been on their channels, and it's just been a great experience. But I don't like to think that like, I'm not a red pill channel. I'm not like a masculinity channel, although those are topics that I do cover. I like to think that I could have anyone on here. Last week I had an Orthodox priest on, and that was quite magnificent to have him on. But yeah, man, be like water. Be like water. Yeah.
Jordan Peterson is a revolution. Absolutely.
Yes.
I've gotten so much out of Jordan Peterson. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
His books,
Yep.
his book, 12 Rules for Life. I mean,
Yep.
I'm in my 60s, and to think that an old man like me can get something like that, and it actually revolutionizes your thinking is pretty significant.
Well, if you think about it, Jordan Peterson is, I think he's a year or two younger than me.
Yeah.
And it's something that I said recently, is that when you get to be in your 60s, all of your mentors are all dying off. You don't have a lot of older people around anymore. So what happens is you go younger. So in the past few years, there's been this phenomenon where some of my, I don't know if mentor would be the word, but people that I respect and people that I'm learning from are 30 years old, 35 years old, 40 years old. And it's been wonderful being able to learn from anybody. I love that.
Absolutely.
Amrit, Amrit, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. How and yourself?
Yeah, doing good. Where are you right now?
All right, now I'm in New York. I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. I've been watching for a while.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And what did you do all day today?
Well, I'm a teacher, so I remote taught all day.
Ah,
It's
what
like
grades?
9th grade, 9th and 10th.
Woo! Wow.
Yep. I'm
What
also
subject?
I'm a special ed teacher, so I'm teaching bio and living environment.
Wow. So you're also dealing with some behavioral issues as well, I would imagine, right?
Well, being online is not so much. The behavioral issue is just not doing your work. They just shut down. You know, it's hard to reach them. But the behavior is not that bad. They don't act out in the Google Meets or anything like that. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, right.
But
right.
it's a pleasure. I started
Yeah,
off
man.
looking at your channel for beard advice, and it turned into life advice.
It's it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got a nice beard there. How long you been growing it?
March is going to be a year. I trimmed it along the way, but I just let it grow.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's great.
Soon I'll get to your length, as it were, or as it was.
Yeah. Yeah, as it was. It becomes a monster when it gets long. It has a life of its own, you know, when it gets really big. Like your beard is pretty long right now. That's pretty big.
I think I might keep it this length, just let it get a little thicker. But
yeah,
I want to say I was looking at your video with the coconut oil and the plastic bag.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You remember that video? It's like
I do. That had to be that's about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah.
Man, that does wonders. It's like it's so simple.
Doesn't it?
It's so simple.
It's so simple. You know where I got that from? When I used to work in a salon. I will never forget. There was I was in a salon, and a stylist would be washing a lady's hair, and she would say, I have a special leave-in conditioner that I can apply. It's going to take about an extra 15 minutes, but it's only $25. It'll make your hair very soft. Is that something you want? And she would ask that question while the woman's head was back in the bowl. Okay. And the woman would say yes. And she would just take a jar of coconut oil and just take it out and put it in the woman's hair and then put the cap on her head. And I'm thinking, oh my God, she just charged $25 for that. And then she would put a hot towel on the cap and just kind of let the heat, have the oil sink into the hair. And it was funny because the clientele thought it was like some magic conditioner or something like that. But she always had a jar of coconut oil right near the sink, the wash basin. And I thought, at the time, I had the big beard, and I thought, I wonder if that would work with my beard. So I went home that day, put the coconut oil in the beard, put the plastic cap on it, and then I put a hot towel over the cap so like the heat would infuse that oil in the beard. Took it off, took a shower, and I could not believe, because my beard initially was like wire. Now it's very soft now that I'm older. But it used to be like a Brillo pad. It was like wool, like steel wool. And that made my beard so soft. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. Tanisha, do you ever use coconut oil?
I do use coconut oil as a treatment. The way that she was, your stylist friend was using it. Yes, I have used coconut oil as a treatment. I don't use it as like a finishing oil because I found with it being solid at room temperature, it may sometimes leave a little bit of a But yes, I've absolutely used it and gotten great results from it. Yes.
Yeah. I always made sure.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, another great oil too is castor oil. Have you tried that as well? It does wonders for the hair, man.
Yeah, castor oil is actually does stimulate hair growth. So that's it's kind of like a little secret that a lot of people don't know about. The what they call a black Jamaican castor oil. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I use as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see who else is coming up. Colby is with us. Colby.
Hey, George.
Hey there. Where are you at now? What state or country are you in?
Standish, Maine.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Yeah. And what did you do all day today?
I went to work.
What kind of work do you do?
I work at a boat yard. I'm a gel coat, paint, and fiberglass repair specialist.
Nice.
Yep, working in the trades.
I'm all about the trades. All about the trades. No doubt. You're always going to have money, no doubt.
Yeah, there's no shortage of work.
Yeah. So you live on the coastline. That's good. You're on the water.
Yes. Yep.
What's the weather like up there?
It's getting warmer. It was about 60 degrees today, which is pretty warm for March.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have to wear a mask or a respirator when you do your work?
A mask is in working with chemicals.
Yeah.
When you work with chemicals. I mean, I don't usually, but you're supposed to. Yeah.
Is your workout, are you outside or in a building?
In a building during the winter. We have winter work, and then when it gets warmer, we start moving outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. So what size boats do you work on?
We work on any size. I've worked on small skiffs to 72-foot boat. It's any size, huge yachts. I've built yachts before for a couple years. So now it's just maintenance right now.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have one of those weird looking vehicles with the four wheels, that big like frame thing? Do you have like one of those things?
No, just a Subaru Impreza. Something good on gas mileage.
Oh, but I mean at work. At work. You know how they have at marinas that thing that lifts the boat. Well, that would be weird if you had one of those, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, a travel lift.
All right. Tell us what that is.
It's basically just this giant machine that is a sling, and it carries the boat in a sling, so you can launch a boat or take the boat out of the water.
And does it have a seat on it, or do you like walk alongside of it, or like I see them at the marina in Philadelphia, but I don't know where the controls are on this thing.
Right, it's just a platform on one of the sides, and it just has levers that you control it with. Yeah.
And is it electric or is it gas powered, or what is it?
It's diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. And is the water frozen? Was the water frozen this year, or do you take all the boats out of the water?
Right. We have to take all the boats out of the water. There's 2 seasons, the spring season and then the fall season. So in the fall, we take all the boats out of the water, all the docks, everything, because the river freezes over.
Yeah.
And then we have winter work throughout the cold months when everything is frozen. And then in the springtime, once it starts warming up, we start putting the docks out into the river, and all the boats start launching all the boats, which we just started this past week.
Colby, I've never met anyone who does what you do, and I've never heard a high school student say, I want to repair yachts when I get out of school. Where did you learn this? And is it on-the-job training, or is it specialized? What is it?
It's very interesting because you hear about all these different trades, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, but you never hear about the marine trades. And it's something that I never knew about. I moved back to Maine, what was it, 6 years ago, and I just needed a job. Basically, I was working in a cabinet shop before I started working on boats, but I came across this job that needed woodworkers building cabinets, installing cabinets on a yacht. And so I just kind of got introduced to the marine trades, and I learned everything just by trial and error, basically, learning from other people that have been, in that trade for many years. But it's basically just trial and error.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. You're rocking a cool stash there, man. You don't see a lot of stashes. So when I see a stash, it stands out.
Thank you.
Pete, you got a stash, don't you?
I do, and funny you should mention that, because about a year ago, back in the fall of, I guess it was 2019, I started growing a beard, and I let it go quite a bit, and I had a good bush going on. And I think I wrote to you and said that I would eventually come down to your area in Philadelphia and get a beard trim. But summertime came and I shaved it off, and I haven't grown it back, but I did keep the mustache. And it's low maintenance, I guess. And,
yeah.
But I'll maybe I'll start the beard up again, and maybe have you sculpt it at some point.
All right, we can do that.
Yeah.
You grow the beard, and I'll shave my beard, and I'll just rock a stash for a while. So.
All right. Yeah. You usually
we have Matthew.
Goatee in the summertime and then grow it back, right?
Right. Yes. I don't think I'm going to do that this year. I think I'm either going to keep the beard year round. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to grow the huge beard again. I like this length right here, but you never know. I mean, I change my mind when it comes to facial hair. So, hey, Matthew.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm doing good. This is unexpected. Thanks for doing this. This is pretty cool that this can happen.
Yeah.
This is neat. How are you?
It was even unexpected with me too. So
nice.
I just went online, and all of a sudden everybody showed up, and I just said, all right, click the links. Let's talk. Where are you from, Matthew?
I grew up in western central Jersey, right along the Delaware River. And I'm currently living in Jersey City and working in Manhattan. So.
Oh, excellent. So Phillipsburg, maybe Princeton, or more north of that.
St. Philip's and St. James. There's a Catholic elementary school there that I went to early. My first school was St. Philip's and St. James in Phillipsburg, New Jersey.
Oh, excellent.
Right
How
on,
did I
right
know
around
that?
that area.
How weird is that?
Phillipsburg, yeah. I mean, that's right there. If you keep going on Route 78, that cuts through the state. Phillipsburg is the last stop before you get to Pennsylvania. So that's but I spend, in terms of PA, I got a friend that owns a business in Easton, and I think it's New Hope. I spend some time in sometimes. Some other family of mine, they like to gig there, musicians and the like. But Jersey my whole life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip. All right. So you work in Manhattan. Do you drive or take the train?
I'm a bike commuter now, thanks to COVID.
Oh. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And how long does that take you?
Bike to path train, and then I take the bike on the path and I'll bike the rest of the way. And it's on a really good day, if I haul it, 35 minutes to the office. It's really nice.
Oh, how perfect. My gosh.
I used to be on a bus for all of time before COVID, and I never put two and two together and said I'll do a bike, but it's so much more fun.
What kind of bike do you have?
It was actually a what was that, Pete?
I was just saying that, talk about getting unstuck, riding the bus and then getting on a bike.
Absolutely. No, I was there's a local triathlon club in Jersey City, and we did a group ride this weekend. It's like unstuck medicine. Anyway.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
A friend recently, actually, he moved out of his place and he couldn't keep this bike. So it was like, it felt like it was straight out of a movie. His name is Todd. He's moving to a smaller apartment, sort of downsizing his life. And he's like, Matt, I got something for you. So he goes into his shed and he's like, this is my bike that I was riding, through the hills growing up. It's like a gravel with no suspension, and it's in bad shape, but it was a Trek, and an old Trek made of steel. And he's like, it's yours. And I was like, are you serious? I got it fixed up. I put $150 into it at the local bike shop, and it rides like a dream.
Wow.
And so I'm riding an old Trek mountain bike to work. And it's sort of old school looking, but it works for me.
No suspension at all?
No, I probably wouldn't take it on too rocky a path, but it's probably perfect for gravel, and it's not bad for street riding. But pretty much. Nice.
And what do you do? What's your thing?
My thing. I'm an acoustical consultant slash engineer. It's a weird job, but it's dealing with all things sound related, not to be mistaken with audio engineering, which is like working the soundboard, and things like that. So often mistaken. So think like room acoustics and sound transmission, hearing your noisy neighbor upstairs, addressing things like that. So
yeah,
that's very interesting. I did some sonar work and that's a lot of acoustics. And
it's funny. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say we do underwater environmental survey. I've never done it, but we'll do surveys, and our most recent one is doing a study on sturgeon and their reproductive habits due to underwater construction noise and bridge construction.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Wow.
And I can't answer too many questions about it. That's pretty much, I know the conceptual idea behind it, but I hope to get involved. Save the sturgeon.
It's a difficult field because there's so many, particularly with underwater acoustics, there's so many variables involved, water temperature and depth and the thermal layers that are involved. It's even, radio, and I'm an electrical engineer, and studying, radio transmission and radar and everything like that. And acoustics seems to me anyway to be so much more complex in just trying to be able to analyze all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, with acoustics, everything's in logarithms. That's the way sound is quantified, and it's just a pressure, and that's how we treat it. That's all sound is. It's just pressure on us, and
it's funny. I used to host a very large symphony orchestra. I was the guy that opened up the show and whatever, and they would alternate months. Every month they had a different concert. One month it was in this new modern Baptist mega church that had carpeting, and the pews were padded. They had padded pews and whatever. And when the orchestra was there, and it was world class, everything was mic'd. On the alternate months, it was in a 150-year-old Lutheran church that had hard floors, a hard altar, hard wooden pews, and the sound was magnificent, and not one thing was amplified. And there wasn't a bad seat in the house.
I love that.
Sounds like a Missouri Synod Lutheran church.
Yeah.
It sounds like Rockefeller Chapel on the University of Chicago campus. It sounds like that in there. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love big, spacious spaces where, you almost wish you could have access to it and share some of the vocal space to say something or experience the echo. But oftentimes it's a place of meditation and quiet where you sort of pray to yourself and can't necessarily produce the noise to experience it. But when you can go to a concert or some sort of, I love vocal work in a hard, vast space. I think it's amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
So that's a cool story. I like that.
Yeah.
We used to go to Tanglewood, Massachusetts, up in the
Boston
Berkshire.
Symphony.
Yes, absolutely. And they had the shed there, and my parents fortunately took us just about every year. We'd camp out in the Berkshires, and we'd go to Tanglewood and listen to the BSO, and it was just beautiful. You could just, it was like a picnic area. Lay your blanket out there on the lawn and have a picnic. And I remember going to sleep one time, just waking up, hearing the music. It was can't duplicate it. Any other experience. Very great.
George, I did want to share with you. I enjoy your morning sessions over a cup of coffee. But the other day I was listening to your pipe kit video / podcast, and it was my first video that I saw of yours that involved pipes. And this is my grandfather's pipe the grandfather I never met. And I only thought of it because of that video. It's so I watched that video and I was like, didn't Grandpa used to smoke pipes? And my grandmother, my only living grandmother, is a widow, and she has been a widow since he passed when he was 50. She's now over 80, and she lives in down the shore, Jersey Shore. And my mom was going to visit her, and I was like, Mom, ask Grandma if she still has Grandpa's old pipe. And she just had it. She just had it, and it's right here.
Wow.
Nice.
That is so special.
And she wanted me to have it, and now I have it. And it's kind of insane. I can't even tell you what it's like when I first held it. I never met the man, but I've heard a lot about him, and I have you to thank for thinking of that. And it's a very now sentimental item.
Here's the thing. That pipe. Well, first of all, you never own a pipe. You're just a steward of it, because it's going to outlive you. Just like it outlived your grandfather. It's going to outlive you. So you just have to take care of it, because who knows who the next person is that's going to have it. But here's the thing, that pipe consoled him during World War II.
He's a veteran.
It helped him celebrate the birth of his first child. When he was at a crossroads, he went out in the back porch or front porch and lit that up and was thinking about a decision. Should he go this way or that way? When you think about what went through your grandfather's mind as he was smoking that pipe, the problems that were solved, the sadness that was consoled, that pipe is so significant. It's more than just a piece of briar and vulcanized rubber. It helped him. And like I said, I don't believe that inanimate objects can hold the soul or have any significant meaning like that. But when you know the history of a pipe, it's much more meaningful than just buying a pipe, just your random pipe that you buy in a store or online. That is so meaningful. If I had my grandfather's pipe, I wouldn't have any other pipes. That would be it. It would be so special. And what's interesting is you can think about your grandfather, if you smoke it, even if you're not a pipe smoker and you just want to take a pipe and just sit while you're checking out a Netflix film, you just sit there and, and just touch it. When you're talking to somebody, I mean, this is the original laser pointer. You know that, right? So, if you're gesturing, you're pointing to something, the pipe makes a good pointer. Keeps your hand busy, and it's so significant because that's what your grandfather did with it. That's what he did with it. So what you're doing is you are literally paying homage to your grandfather by holding that pipe in your hand. And saying, thank you, Grandpa, thank you. And he's part of that great cloud of witnesses that is cheering you on at the finish line, and he's saying, that's my grandson right there. That's my grandson. Look, see that in his hand? That's my pipe in his hand. So pipes can be very sentimental. What is just a piece of wood to one person is a link to the past for another. So how fortunate are you to have your grandfather's pipe? Holy cow, that's wild. That is wild.
I have you to thank for it. I wouldn't have thought of it. It wouldn't have meant much to me, but I saw the intent that you put into the discussion and how much pipe smoking has meant to you. And I don't know, there was something about that video. I think it was a very popular video in terms of the numbers too. I think it resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah, it's got. I think that's got over 1 million hits on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I was like, damn right, like that. It's a good freaking video. And I don't know. It resonated with me. It resonated with a lot of people. And I made the call that same day. I was like, you still got that pipe? I have not smoked it. I have never smoked a pipe. And I think I'm going to do a little bit more research and wait for. I have a lot of cousins. I just was the lucky one to ask, but I'm like one of 20 cousins. So my grandfather has many grandchildren. He had 7 kids. So I'm going to do some research. I think I'm going to maybe smoke it with, or, include some of the cousins, and we'll see.
Yeah. And find out what tobacco he might have smoked. Right above you in the chat is Peg Bell. Her name is Peg Bell. She lives in Ohio. And Peg is a widow for about over 2 years. And look at her. She has a pipe. This is her husband's pipe. And he smoked the pipe, and she takes the tobacco that he used to smoke. She puts it in that pipe, and she lights it. And she says it's like incense in her house. Wow. That almost is a tool of reminiscence for her. Isn't that amazing?
Yes. I'm sorry for your loss, Peg.
That is a beautiful story, Peg. And Matthew, great story.
I wish I had my grandfather's pipe because he was a pipe smoker. And I know that my stepfather inherited one of his pipes. And my brother eventually inherited my mom's house. And an awful lot of stuff got thrown out. And my fear is that, all that stuff went away. But even my stepfather had a heart attack, and he was a cigarette smoker. And my mom wanted to get him to change over to a pipe. And she bought him a number of Haywoody. And I can't find a single one of them or my grandfather's pipe. And I think he had a nice bulldog pipe. And they're all gone, But this pipe here I got at a consignment shop in Rhode Island, and who knows the fellow who had this before, but it's a great smoker. It's a triple B billiard rusticated. I really like it.
That's
nice.
Awesome. I like it.
Hey, we have John Hoover on board from Texas. Hey, John, good to see you.
Howdy, y'all from Austin.
Well,
Hey,
it's funny. John joined us, and he perked up when you were talking about acoustics. John and Matthew, do a little acoustic talk for us.
Well, the underwater acoustics is what perked me up. Matthew, in my younger misspent days, I was a commercial diver out in the North Sea. And so acoustics, having communications between surface and the diver was critical. And we had all kinds of noise down there. You had the noise from the rigs you were working on, plus the tools we were using down there. And a lot of the times the earphones don't fit in your ear, they fit up on your temple. We called them a bone phone, and they would transmit the sound through the temple. And sometimes it'd be so loud that you couldn't hear anything. And so we rigged up a little device that when the supervisor would call down to us, it'd give us a little shock on the side of our head. And then we knew that they were calling, somebody want, collect call.
Yeah.
And, but the last time I was diving, this is funny, they were shooting seismic out in the Galveston Ship Channel. And we were down wreck hunting, and it was me and my partner, and absolutely silted out. You can barely see the hand in front of your face. And Rick and I were hanging on to each other, and we heard this boom. About 30 seconds later, boom, boom, boom. Just loud, and we're just like, oh, that's interesting. And then all of a sudden we were swarmed by a school of fish. I mean, just swarmed all over us. And I was holding Rick. Rick was holding me. Our eyes were this big because they came in, swarmed us, and then swam off just as fast as they'd shown up. And like Rick and I are looking at each other, and it's like, up. And so apparently, I don't know what it was, but the sound of them shooting seismic got those fish on the move and schooling around. And I don't know, they came down to check us out. And I was down, I was actually pounding on a ground probe, which was far less noise, way less noise. And I don't know if they came down to see if I was the cause of this and they were going to have a little chat with me or, lunch or whatever. But they were good sized fish. But that was kind of the last thing. And so, but sound carries through the water. It's interesting what you can hear down there.
That's my question is, I don't know too much about the travel of sound through water. I primarily work with air as the main medium of sound travel. let's say the water had disappeared. Let's say there was no water and you were just standing where you were swimming and those same explosions went off. Would it have been louder or would it have been not as loud? Do you think that water transmits that volume and almost amplifies it?
I think it'll transmit further, maybe.
So the water sort of dissipated that noise.
Yeah, it's what you're.
But still, it was so loud.
You're not
to you.
getting the. Yeah, you're still getting it. You don't get any shock wave. It'll dampen the shock wave, but the sound wave carries. I know that, like, and this is weird, but I spent a year diving in Hawaii on the Big Island, and when the humpbacks would come through the channel between the Big Island and Maui going into Lahaina Bay, they sing, right? They make, yeah. And you could hear that. You can't see them. They were out of visual, way out of visual. But you could hear them sing. You could hear that transmission through the water. It used to just make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. First few times I heard it, I was down about 110 feet with about 900 feet below me in what we call the ozone, which is just blue haze. The only way you know is up, your bubbles go up. And
that
so
sounds like an unforgettable experience to have heard that.
It's pretty cool, but you hear that humpback noise, and it's real. It's beautiful, but it's kind of eerie, you know. But yeah, underwater acoustics is a whole different thing. I know that, like, they work with wireless underwater communication, and I've tried that a few times, and thermoclines get in the way of that, where you'll go from warm water to colder, denser water, and then back out through the bottom into warm water again. It's kind of like a band of cold water, and you have trouble transmitting through the thermocline sometimes. I think submarines have that trouble with communication too. They get below the thermoclines and can mask their noise. Just a thought. I mean, you're the expert. You're the pro from Dover.
No, I've got my learning pants on right now. This is insane.
You're the pro from Dover. I'm just a wrench turner. Okay.
Commercial diving. How long were you a commercial diver?
10 years.
10 years.
And I can count to 10.
That's what you said as soon as you started. You said, as soon as I get to my 10th finger, I'm done. I retire.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's $5,000 a joint. So 5, 10, 15 if you take it off at the hand.
I like it.
Mm. So that's what the payout is. But anyway, no, that was an interesting occupation. You know, George,
is that something that is that something that you started in, or something that you ended up in?
Something I gravitated to. I grew up watching Sea Hunt and Jacques Cousteau.
Mike Nelson.
What?
Mike Nelson, Sea Hunt.
Lloyd Bridges. I sent him hate mail to the day he died.
What?
Oh my God. You know, he would be there, and remember, like, he would strap on that triangular mask and just, I got one of those. That's a Jack Brown. Okay. Worst diving mask in the world. Okay. Just absolutely, just an absolute 3 hours in the water with that, and you need chiropractic care for your jaw. Anyway, and he did all this great stuff and had the big boat, and I thought, oh, that's cool. And then Jacques Cousteau comes along, and all the pretty fish, and everyone's speaking French, and the boat, and it's all cool. I'm going to be a marine biologist. Well, most marine biologists, the closest they get to making money with fish is selling fish sandwiches at McDonald's. Okay.
A useful degree.
Yes. But I went into commercial diving. I was a gypsy diver when I was about 17, 18, traveling the Caribbean and Florida circuit, working at dive tours as a safety diver and instructor. And I was in the Bahamas and got a gig. I lied and got a gig working about 150 feet doing pipeline for British Petroleum in the harbor, connecting pipeline together. And I did okay. I did pretty good at it. And the guy said, you ought to go to commercial diving school. Go do this full time. And I thought, okay. Looked into it, went to FIT, Florida Institute of Technology in Jensen Beach. They had an underwater associates program.
Where I might be teaching this fall.
And, but you'll be in Melbourne. I think they closed the Jensen Beach. They closed the Jensen Beach campus, I think.
Right.
I don't think it's there anymore. But anyway, long story short, it's the best trade school. It's like the buffet of trade schools. Because you have to learn to weld, you have to learn closed circuit TV, surface photography, underwater photography, diesel mechanics, boat handling, knot tying, mechanics, tool making, ship handling, boat handling, all this stuff. And so, and plus the hyperbarics and the diving, and I have fallen back on that many times in my professional career when I found myself out of work and I could fall back and get a job doing one of the last jobs I did was working for a hyperbaric oxygen therapy unit. They do the medical administration of oxygen under pressure, and they have chambers. And so being an OG, I heard you talking about that, I knew how to run those chambers manually. The kids today, it's all computerized. But if the computers fall over, they need somebody who can take over and run that chamber by hand. And plus, I know how to work on them and fix them and plumb them. So I picked up a $40,000 a year job, just hanging out. It was great. Clean scrubs, clean environment, didn't get my hands too dirty. And, okay, did that till better things rolled along. Right?
Yeah.
So having a trade, as George so often says, is a good thing to have in your hip pocket.
Boy, it sure is. Hey, our friend from the Netherlands just said goodbye. I think it's probably 2:00 in the morning for him. So thanks for being with us. Definitely appreciate that. Hey, we have Drew with us. Hey, Drew.
Good evening, everybody.
Where are you at tonight?
I'm finally home from work. So I live just outside of Madison, Wisconsin, out in the country.
Ah, nice. Nice. Yeah. And what did you do all day? You were at work?
Yeah. So I'm a IT security consultant. So that's where I usually drop my consultant joke. If you're not part of the solution, there's money to be made in prolonging the problem.
So, say that again. That is a great quote. What is that?
That's a keeper. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not part of the solution, there's money to be made prolonging the problem.
Oh, that's wild.
Hey, Drew.
That is wild.
You know what they call a man 50 miles away from his office with a briefcase?
What's that?
A consultant.
Huh? Here I am.
Yeah, right. Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us, Drew. Appreciate that. Nice evening chat.
Yeah, great to be on. It's funny. The first time I joined a panel was actually with your brother, and it was by mistake. It was by mistake, and so it was my trial by fire. I joined. I really didn't mean to, and it was him, Steve, the dean, Coach EO. So I was like, whoa. What did I get into here?
Thrown to the wolves, right?
Yeah. No, it was really good though. Now, I mean, it's been great discovering all their content and lots of interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. Oh my gosh, that's pretty funny. Athena, join us. There's a link, and you're welcome to join us. I know you've been with us before, and so just click the link and jump in, even if it's for a couple minutes. What's everybody smoking tonight?
Drew, what are you smoking?
Mine is a Borkum Riff bourbon whiskey blend.
Nice.
And George, I don't think you mentioned. I didn't hear what you were smoking.
This is Haunted Bookshop in a Savinelli 673. It's a this stuff will knock you on your butt. So I gotta if you smoke it like a freight train, you will not be able to get up out of your chair. It's one of those things where I was never a cigarette smoker, so I don't inhale, and I don't. I'm not used to nicotine. I just puff. So, but this Haunted Bookshop, if I was puffing on this like a freight train, like an old locomotive, at the end of this broadcast, I would not be able to get out of my chair. It would be just ridiculous. So, yeah, you gotta. They say smoke them if you got them. Well, smoke them slow if you got them.
Yeah, I've had Haunted Bookshop, and I've got some of that in my cellar. And Drew, I'm smoking some Peter Stokeby luxury twist flake. I think it's Virginia Burley, maybe. Not sure, but really nice. I'll show you the tobacco. I can get it open. Really nice little flake.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you break it up or just fold it when you put it in your pipe? You rub it
Depends.
out, or?
Sometimes I rub it out if it's a really moist tobacco. I like to give it a little bit of dry time. But this, you can stuff this right in your pipe and smoke it. It's dry enough that you can do that. That's what I usually do.
I got to get me a smoking jacket. Pete, I'm looking at your jacket and I'm thinking, like, that might be my new gig. I don't know. I just, there's just for the average person popping into this broadcast and they look at you sitting there with your, your silk smoking jacket on and the pipe.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for like the Playboy bunnies to come in and start sitting on your lap or something.
Or the butler to come in. Yeah,
Yeah, that's even the same color as Hef's, I think.
Could be.
Yeah, exactly. I think so.
Yeah, I picked this up last year. And I've got one of the smoking caps too with the tassel. You're familiar with that?
Oh, nice. Very nice.
That's matching.
We're gonna have we're gonna have to have a smoking night where like it sounds like I'm like promoting like bad health or something like that, but
all in moderation.
All in moderation, right? Yeah.
At 62, I mean, it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, right. Right.
If it hasn't killed me yet, right?
Right, exactly.
My doctor.
John, you've been 62 for a long time, I think.
Almost a year.
Right? Has it been? I thought you've been 62 for at least a couple years now.
No. Almost a year.
Okay, that's good.
I've looked 62 for quite a while, but
I think I've got you all beat. I'm 65.
There you go.
Think about the intellectual capital in this chat right now. I mean, when I look at all the intellectual capital here, there's just so much. When people gather together, there's, the individual intellects, and then there's the mastermind. And it's everybody just kind of like starts vibing together, and the conversation flows, and some people input, some people take in, and it's just like this flow. I just love a good conversation. I love it.
I agree.
Except I'm the only one without a pipe right now. So I have one. I'm just not utilizing it.
I don't have
That's
one.
all right.
No pipe for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
but now that I heard now that I heard about Peg using hers as a holder for her incense, so to remind her her husband, which is just such a beautiful story. I may get one because I would say this. My great uncle smoked a pipe, and it used to bring it was warm and fuzzy memories of Grandma's house, because my great uncle, he would smoke in the basement and it would come up the stairs, and it was always around holidays. Grandma would be baking and Uncle David Roy is smoking downstairs, and it was just it's beautiful memories. Really nice memories of that pipe smoke.
And another thing that the pipe smoke does, we used to rescue horses. We would go to slaughterhouses and bring back a couple every other month and work on them and get them trained and find them new homes. And we have quite a bit of acreage in the back, and we would ride the horses through the woods. And my husband always wanted to ride the long-legged tall horses, and I always rode the stocky ponies. It was just what we did. And anyway, so he always went first so he could take the cobwebs down amongst the tree, the branches, and he'd be puffing on his pipe and kind of act like a mosquito fog. So I was good. It's like following him.
I just find that interesting how some of those smells can take you back to a time. That reminds me of my dad used to, when I was younger, he would restore cars. And, just a few years ago, we went, we go to car shows all the time. And, a couple I got into, and I just was like, oh my God, I was like 8 years old. I'm like, do you smell that? And I tell him, like, do you smell the inside of it? And he's looking at me like, what are you talking? I'm like, well, you don't remember it, but gosh, I mean, it was just like being a kid again. Like that smell of like a, kind of an interior of something that's been sitting for a while, or, that it's just amazing. I was just, it's almost kind of emotional. You just sit there like, oh my God, it's like, it was an 8-year-old kid all over again. And it was kind of neat.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that. There's a part of Philadelphia. It's the part of Philadelphia that's closest to me, called Chestnut Hill. And me and my youngest brother were walking there to go to a pipe store called the Pipe Rack. I mean, of course, that's the best name for a pipe and tobacco store, the Pipe Rack. I mean, I can't think of a better name. Anyways, and we saw a guy walking towards us on the sidewalk. And he had a tweed coat on, a flat cap, smoking a pipe, like round, like a John Lennon kind of glasses. And he's walking towards us. And my brother and I are both smoking pipes. And as he passed us, he said, "Good day, chaps," with a British accent. My brother and I looked at each other and high-fived each other. And we thought, of course, he had to say that. I mean, just he had the uniform on. He's supposed to say, "Good day, chaps." And I found out, I was telling the guy at the Pipe Rack, yeah, I saw this guy in a tweed coat, and he goes, "Oh yeah, he owns the art gallery." I'm like, I knew it was something like that, but it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. But yeah, I could go and sit on a park bench, like on the sidewalk, smoke a pipe, and I joke around with guys in the pickup community. I always say, you really need to get a pipe, and they're like, how does that help? I said, whenever I have smoked a cigar in Chestnut Hill, and it's a very walkable part of the city, very low crime. If you're smoking a cigar and you walk past people, they do that that exaggerated cough, like they just breathed your smoke, and they do this. They go, But whenever I'm smoking a pipe, if I'm sitting down on the park bench, women would come by, they would stop, and they go, "That smells great," or they'd say, "Wow, that reminds me of my father or my grandfather," and I jokingly said, "Oh, it's pipe game." Like I would tell the guys it's pipe game, because if you just smoke a pipe, you're reminding them of someone who used to smoke a pipe, someone who they loved and respected, and conversation always started. Didn't matter. Young or old women were always attracted to a guy smoking a pipe. And it's so rare. And kind of like what Tanisha said, the smell of certain tobaccos, the aromatic tobaccos, there's something about it. I think there's actually a science behind the olfactory memory that certain smells will bring back. Like whenever I smell mothballs, I think of my grandmother, because remember when grandmoms would have mothballs in every room, like in every closet, like in the whole house smelled like mothballs. And so when I smell certain things, when I smell pipes, I think of like professors I had in college. Tanisha, it reminded you of your uncle. There's something about a nice smelling tobacco that stimulates a memory for people.
And speaking of the pipe game that you mentioned, George, so my uncle David Roy, he kept up. He spun a lot of plates. I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
He used his a phone call coming through. He used his pipe to attract more plates to spin. He kept a lot of money. And so
that's great.
The pipe helped a lot.
What is the difference? I was going to say, what's the difference between, you smoke a pipe, I can be like here in a room, smoke a pipe, and in a day or two, you really don't smell it. If I smoke a cigar, and almost the next day, it's kind of it doesn't smell great. There's a big difference between the two.
Mm-hmm. Big difference.
It's funny that you say that. It's funny that you say that because when I smoke a cigar, I either have to brush my teeth like right after or rinse my mouth out or something like that. And I can even like taste the cigar or sense it on my beard the next day. With a pipe, it doesn't linger with me like that at all, not even a little bit. And it's kind of cool how it does that. And but going back to Tanisha, a word that you used, Tanisha, regarding your relative that kept several women, that's terminology that I haven't heard in decades. When a man is keeping several women. Have you guys heard that? Have you younger ones, have you heard that?
Keeping several women, what does that exactly mean?
Like when you like, in other words, like you had several girlfriends, like
mistresses.
Yes, mistresses, or you kept several women, that kind of thing. And it was it's kind of like when you'd go to a party, and when you go to a party and an uncle would bring a woman, she was always called a lady friend, right? Oh, that's Uncle John's lady friend. Not his girlfriend, it was a lady friend. And I always thought that was kind of interesting, and that was kind of the like code for, yeah, Uncle John gets around.
He was their gentleman caller.
A gentleman caller, yes. Oh, that's pretty cool. Athena, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm okay, I think. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good. My first time being
where
on
are?
cam.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Where are you from? Where are you at?
I'm in the great state of Texas, the last bastion of hope and freedom for our country. And I'm in Austin, the most liberal part of the Bible buckle belt hole. And we're gonna make it through, though. We're gonna make it through.
I love it. I love it. We have John Hoover. He's from Austin, Texas.
Hey, John. We're probably
Hey.
neighbors.
We
Hey.
probably are.
I don't like this camera. I don't. Anyway, hi, George.
So,
Hi, everybody.
what did you do all day today?
I had a fundraising Zoom about loans, small loans for organizations, and then I missed a board meeting, and then I took a nap to get ready for work. I have a 4 to 12 midnight shift. I'm an essential worker deemed by the government, so I work.
Okay.
Yeah, but I only work
Excellent.
this shift Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So.
Okay. Excellent. And how did you end up stumbling upon this cast of characters tonight?
Oh, well, I saw you like vortexing a mug of coffee one day, and I was hooked ever since. He's a man. He's a real man. And so I just been catching your blogs and vignettes and connecting, connecting back to sanity and sensibility and sense of common sense.
Have you ordered your K-Bar chopsticks yet?
What is that? What's a K-Bar chopstick? I know. I'm gonna say no. I don't even know what.
Have you ordered chopsticks, Drew?
Oh yeah, I have them. I use them every day.
I don't drink coffee, guys. I just don't. I like a little coffee in my cream, but that's about it.
A little coffee in your cream.
Coffee in your cream. I like.
Yeah,
okay.
give me a burrito with some tacos. Huh? Yeah.
But yeah, I'm in Austin. I'm glad to know John's in Austin, and I'm glad to see Tenacious. And all you fine looking people. Glory to your peg, hey girl. All right, I guess I better get back to work now.
Oh, you're actually at work right now.
Yes. There was a crying baby in the lobby, which was very strange, and I couldn't go on camera. Then I had to shoot a girl out of the building. Look, girl, what are you doing here? So she had to leave. And then I was able to camera. I'm glad I did.
That's great.
And I am Jewish, by the way. I don't know. Typing is so one-dimensional, and I was just asking for a friend, but that friend was me. About you dating anybody that wasn't Christian, and I understood. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
I'll
tell you what, we are now going on 3 hours, which means I got to get to bed. And I can't believe how fast the time went by, but I'm so happy that you guys all joined in tonight. And how lucky. Does anyone remember what did they call it when you would was it called a grab bag? Is that a phrase from our childhood? Some of you older folks, a grab bag, where you would get something and you never know what you were going to get in the bag. Right? And when you go live like this, it's you just never know, because I don't plan these. They're completely random, and I am of the belief that there really is nothing random in this world. That everybody that was on this stream tonight, everyone who's here now, is supposed to be here somehow, some way. And it sure was a pleasure chatting with you all here on my front porch. And I will be doing it randomly again. And keep an eye out for me and join in. And I love having you all here, even if it's for those that just popped in for a few minutes. That's awesome. But we're definitely going to do it again on Sunday night at 6 o'clock, no doubt. And that was a lot of fun last week, Sunday night at 6 o'clock Eastern time. So everyone's welcome to come back. And yeah, I mean, we had everybody on. Think about it. We represented the world here tonight. So that was kind of cool. So any last words from anyone? Peg, any last words?
Thank you so much for the work that you do, the encouragement that you give us, the programs that you provide, the entertainment, the education, the sanity, clarity, and reason. I appreciate you, the work that you do, and so many of the lives that you touch. You touch our lives, and in turn, that we can touch other people. Thank you.
Yeah. Matthew, any last words?
What you're saying might have also been called the white elephant gift exchange. I don't know if that's the grab bag you were talking about, but my dad's side, when we get together for Christmas, we always do a white elephant where everyone brings. It's usually something that nobody wants. I think that's the point. Like take beef jerky and wrap in wrapping paper is like a classic, or a mug with something completely inappropriate on it. You know, throw it in the bag. So that's. It made me think of that when you said a gift exchange, but no, this is a gift. What you're doing here, so thanks, and all of you.
I think Forrest Gump said that, right? Like something he said, like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Oh yeah,
remember that line? Yep. Oh, yeah. John Hoover, what are your last words?
Everyone just stay sane, stay clear, stay focused. Tell the truth, and don't be scared of the woke mob.
Of the what?
Woke mob. The woke monster. And its trolls. I still slug it out in the sewer known as Twitter. And so,
you're doing the good work, John.
I haven't seen Twitter in about 3 months now since I got banned from it, but I almost feel like a weight was lifted off of me. Drew, any last words?
I think Peg said it best, and I would just add to that especially in the times we're in right now, your content is more valuable than ever. So I'm really thankful for it, and always tune in when I can, and thank you for everything you do.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Drew. Tanisha. Last but not least.
Everybody said it best. Let's see okay, something comes to mind. A video, an excellent teaching that you did, George, on how we should not be self-deprecating. And I read a quote from Rick Warren, which was a paraphrasing of a C.S. Lewis quote. You should not, what was it? You should not think of being truly humble. You know, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. And that is what you model. And I'm grateful that you do that. And you're helping us go out into the world. And yes, John, that thinking of ourselves, not less of ourselves, but thinking of ourselves less is going to break this spirit of this wokeness. So yeah, thank you, George. Thank you, Peg, Matthew, everybody. John, Drew, Pete, everybody.
Yeah. Pete, any last words?
Just tuned back in. My battery died on my cell phone, so I was able to come back in. But what a great conversation we've had. I can't even describe the feeling that I get and the fellowship that I'm feeling with all you guys. It's just unbelievable. And I know we're a diverse group, and there may be many folks with different opinions than many of us have. And I just I just love y'all, man. Thanks. Thanks so much, George, for making all this possible.
Excellent. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, everybody. Come back Sunday night at 6 o'clock. Sleep well and be productive tomorrow. And suck your stomach in, chest out, shoulders back, head high. Walk 25% faster than everyone else. Keep everybody guessing. Have a sense of urgency, and life is good. So I'll see you all on Sunday night, 6 o'clock.
Sunday
Thanks
night.
a lot.
God bless.
All right. Bye.
All righty.
Salute.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, how do I get out of here? Leave.